The Hebraic origins of the Romani people, a historical, genetic, and cultural analysis. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues and distinguished guests, I'm honored to present to you today an exploration of the Hebraic origins of the Romani people. This presentation will delve into historical narratives, linguistic connections, genetic research, and cultural traditions that point to a profound and long-standing relationship between the Romani and the Jewish people. Historical background. The people known today as the Romani or Gypsies have a complex history that dates back over 1,500 years. Based on linguistic studies of the Romani language, it's widely accepted that their ancestors originated from the northwestern region of India, specifically from Punjab. Some historians also suggest that the city of Kanaur as a possible point of origin. These people are believed to have fled their homeland due to invasions, particularly by Afghan Muslim forces. And by approximately 1095, they had migrated westward into the Byzantine Empire, passing through vast Islamic territories of the Abbasid Caliphate. Upon reaching Byzantium, these people identified themselves as monoteistics, worshipping as singular deity they referred to as Atbel. They called themselves Apsigana, and in Magna Graecia they became known as Atictos Atinganoi. Interestingly, they observed that the Shabbat and maintained certain ritual purification practices that closely resembled those of the Jewish people, although they had incorporated some Christian and Gnostic elements, likely adopted during their earlier times in the Persian Empire. Their core beliefs and practice suggested a deep-rooted monotheism. Migration and settlement in Europe. After their time in Byzantium, these people moved into the Balkans and by 1350 began arriving in Germany in small groups of 80 to 100 individuals. These groups were led by tribal leaders, known as voivodas, such as King Sindel, Duke Panuel, and Mikhail. They carried documents describing themselves as pilgrims, traveling through Europe, because their ancestors had abandoned the Christian faith, or according to myth, because they had failed to help the Holy Family during their time in Egypt. These travelers recounted stories of their ancestor crossing a great sea to escape a tyrannical king, while they were in Egypt during the Saracen era. Their language contained numerous Yiddish words, as noted by Hebraists like Van Hessel. Even prominent figures like Martin Luther later commented on how these people resembled Jews in their appearance, dress, and customs. Furthermore, they practiced palmistry, a skill also associated with Kabbalistic, who studied the lines of the hand and face. A tradition believed to have originated from the teaching of Moses' father-in-law. Cultural practice and mystical traditions. In Europe, the Romani were known to read the Tarot, a practice believed by mystics such as Athanasius Kirchner and Eliphas Levi to have Egyptian origins, possibly passed down by Egyptian priests. This mystical practice, combined with historical observation, offered circumstantial evidence of a Hebraic connection. When we analyze traditional Romani laws regarding ritual purifications, marriage, mourning, and justice, they closely mirror the ancient rabbinical codes of the Davidic era. These include the concept of cities of refuge for those who commit involuntary offenses, a parallel to the Jewish laws of Homicianus. It's crucial to note that the Romani were monotheists long before they ever held a Christian Bible in their hands, and their leaders often sing documents with the Star of David, as evidenced in ancient Romani letters. Genetic evidence. Recent advancements in population genetics have provided further evidence supporting the bright Romani connection. Research conducted by myself, Antonio Villagomez, along with Lizardo Canamontes and Dr. Douglas Schar, has identified significant genetic links between the Romani and Jewish population. Key haplogroups such as J2A and J1, along with mitochondrial DNA haplogroup M51A1B, are shared between Romani populations and Jewish communities in Asia, Uzbekistan, and other regions. The mitochondrial DNA of Ceuta Jews from Mallorca, Cochin Jews, and Romani people is identical, all belonging to the M51A1B haplogroup. This genetic evidence transcends circumstantial proof, highlighting a shared ancestry that is reflected in the similar migratory paths of these groups through Asia, Greek, the Balkans, and beyond. Despite historical claims that the Romanis' passage through the Middle East was brief, lasting perhaps only 80 to 100 years, genetic data reveals that up to 70% of Romani DNA is Jews. In my own paternal lineage, for example, 62% of my ancestors are Jewish, predominantly from the Ashkenazi communities of Erfurt in Germany and Norwich in England, communities that were tragically eradicated during medieval pogroms. It's conceivable that during the 14th century, intermarriage between Romani and Ashkenazi Jews was common, as both groups recognized each other as natural Hebrews. The future of the bright Romani cause. Our mission is significant. The movement to promote the bright Romani cause among the nations, along with other initiatives recognizing a bright Romani origins in Europe, is gaining momentum. This includes the establishment of Messianic Jewish societies for Romani in France and the Tzigana Society of Jerusalem, which operates yeshivot for Romani under the leadership of Samuel Abukaya. Our goal is to reunite the lost Hebraic Romani tribes with the Jewish world, both within and beyond Israel's borders. This movement carries profound social, political, genetic, and spiritual implications. It seeks justice for Romani people in the nations and aims to secure future opportunities for migration, employment, and education for Romani youth, who desperately need and deserve these opportunities. The Romani experience in Europe has been one of profound hardship, and it's time for our people to find mutual strength and solidarity with the Jewish community, especially considering the current political climate in Israel. I believe we are also fulfilling a biblical prophecy in these times, a prophecy that must be recognized by the world, particularly by politicians and social leaders. The Jewish Romani community in Europe can offer substantial support to Israel through publicity, intelligence, and other means. In turn, both communities can strengthen one another as foretold in the prophecies of Ezekiel. In recent months, I have had the privilege of delivering lectures in Spain, and upon my return to Chile, I will continue to work towards uniting Romani communities in this great cause. I urge scientists, researchers, politicians, and respect Romani and Jewish artists to understand, publicize, and promote this significant social, political, and prophetic movement. The bright Romani cause is symbolized by our patriarchal emblems, the Star of David and the Romani wheel. We stand on the brink of a worldwide change for our respective peoples, and we must prepare ourselves for a future where Romani youth can study the Torah, embrace every philosophy from a psychological perspective, and join forces in the fight against anti-Gypsyism and anti-Semitism. In Europe, through our brotherly societies, strength lies in unity, and unity leads to success. We must strive to make Israel greater, stronger, more powerful, and allied with better nations, including the Romani people. Thank you for your attention. All these pieces of evidence provide a strong foundation for initiating a remarkable movement that will benefit both the Romani and Jewish people. We must also consider the prophetic signs, indicating that the Romani people fulfill the expectation of those who were exiled from the lost tribe of Israel to Assyria during the reigns of Tiglath-Pileser, Sargon II, and other Assyrian kings. For us, the connection with Judea and Samaria is of relevance and importance. We have credible data on Romani individuals bearing the surname Shomron, a name with clear etymological and linguistic ties to Shomron, Samaria, and Judea, as well as the ancient Shomronim. Furthermore, there is a connection to Romaniot Jews, since the etymology of the term we use to describe ourselves, Rom or Roma, bears a striking resemblance. There are many Romani surnames of Jewish origin across Europe, particularly in Spain, where they are related to the Sephardi ethnic group, and in Europe more broadly, where they are connected to the Ashkenazi communities. These names have diverse origins and meanings. Through research conducted on MyHeritage, we have identified ourselves as an ethnic group that has remained remarkably pure over the centuries, despite the challenge of extermination, mutilations, and other brutal measures that threatened our existence, especially in Spain, where the policies of successive monarchs have caused significant hardship for us. It's crucial for us to elevate our self-esteem and unite with Israel in virtue and solidarity. By doing so, we can redirect the potential of a people numbering over 16 million across 12 different countries for the benefit of Israel and the nation. I believe that this is a unique opportunity, and I, along with others, I am prepared to serve as a diplomatic ambassador and intermediary between the Romani community and the government of Israel, as well as other migration organizations like Shabei Israel. In the past, we have reached out to influential figures, such as the Grand Dayan Eliyahu Birbam, and have engaged with prominent rabbis in South America, including Rav Samuel Steisenhaler and others. We have also communicated with evangelical societies of Israel's friends in Chile, such as those led by Pastor Marcos Melo in Chile and elsewhere. Additionally, we have reached out to major Romani leaders in Latin America, including Jorge Bernal of the Icaskoka Society of Latin America, as well as Union Romani and others in Europe. Through this context and social media force over the years, we have become a significant media influence. Platforms like my Juditanos account on TikTok, Facebook, and Jewish and Romani websites have helped us gather hundreds of members into WhatsApp group dedicated to this cause. We continue to organize daily, striving to spread our ideas and thoughts across Eastern European countries, and even into Turkey, where over 5 million Romani people reside. Moving forward with more evidence, I would like to discuss the Romani worship practice related to Astarte, and the connection to the cult of Saint Sarah Lacaille in Camargue, France. These practices are clear evidence of a connection to a Canaanite past, which only ancient Hebrews could have maintained. This connection is further validated by genetic and archaeogenetic research linking many Romani people to ancient settlements in Ashkelon, Sidon, and other Canaanite sites. These findings provide compelling proof of an ancient Hebrew ancestry. Population genetics confirm other evidence found in traditions, customs, and religion remnants, such as those mentioned. The researcher and geneticist Dr. Douglas Schar is currently conducting a thorough investigation of various Romani families in America, England, and other locations. His research has drawn clear connections between these families and their Jewish heritage. Additionally, Dr. Schar is engaged in a study that will compare Romani surnames with Jewish surnames found in the archives of the Inquisition. An arduous task, but one that is certainly worth listening to. As for my own work in 224, I have given lectures in Spain, in Cartagena, Murcia, for organizations such as Calais and Romani societies, in Romani neighborhoods here in Cartagena, Murcia, Spain. If possible, I hope to give another lecture in Algeciras, in southern Spain, before I depart for Chile. In this way, I establish myself as a researcher, as a scientist, and a communicator who understands the political, social, prophetic, biblical, and psychological implication of Torah-based development for the Romani people of Hebraic origin worldwide. This is a unifying force for our people, linking us with Israel and the nations. Israel benefits, we benefit, and the truth is also served. May this cause and movement encompass all. Amen. This is a call to all Romani people, families, and others across Europe and beyond to gather and unite in the bright Romani cause among the nations. This is the first Romani and Gypsy movement of political, prophetic, and biblical Zionism directed toward the government of Israel and its institutions, including migration societies for future allies. It's a call to prophetic, biblical, psychological, and scientific truth, where the foundation lies in population genetic and of course, historical reality. We have been denied evidence, and the truth has been concealed from us through absurd political maneuvering of blatant discrimination. But now is the time to awaken and discover in our hearts what must be done. We are open to all proposals, to all lines of political and social actions, and to all contacts with rabbis and Zionist societies. We are open to the truth. For us, the lands of Samaria and Judea are in our hearts, and the nation of Israel is in our souls. We are Hebraic Romani, and we love the Jewish world. We are Zionists, and we are committed to the formation of Israel among the nations, as well as to help him from every angle and wherever there is a need at this critical moment for our sister nation. The government of Israel needs allies like us and others. It needs to surround itself with its best friends and allies. We can and want to be those allies. This is the final conclusion and the beginning of a long path of preparation for our job. Using autosomal DNA calculators, multi-component analysis, and population oracles from not only DNA Genic, but also French genetic firm Explore Your DNA, and others, alongside haplogroup studies through the commercial archaeogenetic company My True Ancestry, we have reached significant conclusions. These findings show that between 50% to 60% of the Hebraic ancestry among Romani people in Europe is evident. This is particularly linked, as previously mentioned in this presentation, to the Ashkenazi Jewish community, specifically those who first entered Europe during the early Middle Ages in places like Erfurt and Norwich. We have observed close population distances with Jewish communities in Turkey, Uzbekistan, and other locations. We've also identified Romani elements within Jewish communities in Cochin and among the Bnei Menashe in northwest India, who have been brought to Israel by the Shabbat Israel Society led by Eliyahu Birbaum and Michael Fromm. Genetic populations, links, and ancestry maps confirm that the Roman exile from Asia to Europe, tracing their passage through the Middle East. We've discovered significant traces of Canaanite DNA among the Romani, particularly in places like Ashkelon and Sidon. This points to a direct connection with ancient Israeli tribes in the north, emphasizing their Hebraic origins. Historically, the ancient tribes of Israel, biblically and prophetically, fell into idolatry, and disregarded prophets like Jeremiah, leading to their deportation. The Ephraimite tribes in particular had a stronger connection to Egyptian culture, as evidenced by practices such as the Spanish handkerchief test. They adopted the worship of Baal, specifically the cult of Ammon, which was prominent in northern Israel. Alongside the worship of Asera, Lady of the Sea, Astarte, as previously mentioned, these practices are reminiscent of the veneration of Saint Sarah Lacali in the Camargue region of France. This convergence of monotheism, Canaanite religions, and following the Assyrian-Babylonian deportation, Zoroastrianism, and Mazdean dualism, further substantiates our claims. The genetic connection with the Parsis of India and Iranian communities suggests a significant passage through Iran-Persia, where the Jewish community also established itself, with most Jews not returning to Jerusalem during the time of Zerubbabel and others. All of this and more provide clear, undeniable links to Israel. These are not merely circumstantial pieces of evidence, but a compelling array of facts that we can no longer ignore. In conclusion, I would like to address the doctrinal aspect of this movement. Currently, the Hebrew-Romani movements across Spain, France, and Latin America are divided into three main branches: the Evangelical branch, the Messianic Jewish branch, and the Orthodox Jewish branch. These three branches, through distance, stem from the same root and origin. As Antonis Villa, director of the Hebrew-Romani cause, I identify as a Hebrew monotheist and, above all, as a Zionist and diplomat for my people. While I have personal inclinations, I believe that these three doctrinal branches must coexist within the Hebrew-Romani world and reinforce one another at their respective levels. The transition of Romani individuals to the Torah should be gradual and deliberate. Indeed, significant support has come from the evangelical Christian world. And in France, the endorsement of Rabbi Chaim Dinovich, who supports the Hebrew-Romani origin, represents one of the major supports from the Orthodox Jewish community. Likewise, the Messianic Jews community in Paris and elsewhere is becoming increasingly receptive to the Hebrew-Romani origin. Therefore, it's crucial that we strive for unity rather than division on doctrinal issues, recognizing that each perspective offers its own biblical view. I conclude with a call to sponsors and individuals who can support the Hebrew-Romani cause in all its dimensions, aiming for its final realization with Israel, both within and beyond its borders, and for the Jewish world. The consolidation of this alliance between nations of every origin is of great necessity. Support from the media, politics, and society at large will be immensely beneficial and would bring justice to the world. May this cause and movement achieve its goals, and may the truth shine brightly. Amen.